All right, today we are pulling back the curtain on one of the coolest pieces of magic inside modern AI. You know, things like ChatGPT. It's a concept called multi-head attention, and honestly, it's the secret sauce for how AI understands language with such incredible nuance.
I mean, think about it for a second. A single sentence can be jam-packed with different relationships and context. For a computer that just sees raw data, ones and zeros, trying to grasp the whole story, not just the individual words, that's a massive, massive challenge. So how on earth do they pull it off?
Well, the first thing you need to know is they can't do it with just a single glance. It's kind of like how you can't understand a really complex scene by just looking at one spot. An AI needs a much smarter strategy to piece together the giant puzzle of human language.
To really make this click, let's use a simple but really powerful analogy. Just imagine that the AI is a whole team of detectives. They all show up to the same crime scene, and their job is to figure out exactly what happened.
So our first detective, this one's a specialist. They walk onto the scene and their entire focus is on the footprints. That's it. They're looking at the size, the direction, the depth. They are gathering one very specific type of clue.
Okay, but right behind them is a second detective, and they could not care less about footprints. No, their expertise is analyzing relationships. You know, where the shadows are falling, which direction people seem to be looking. They are uncovering a totally different layer of information from the exact same scene.
And then, here comes our third specialist. This one's a bit different. They're not looking at all. They're listening. They're paying attention to background sounds, or, when we're talking about language, the grammatical structure, the syntax. This adds a whole other dimension to the investigation.
Now here is the most important part. No single detective solves this case alone. It's not going to happen. Instead, they all come together, they lay their notes out on the table, and they combine their unique findings. And when the footprint experts' clues merge with the relationship experts' insights, bam! Suddenly, this rich, super detailed picture of the event just snaps into focus.
And that right there, that is exactly what multi-head attention is. Each one of our detectives, that's an attention head. They're these little processes running in parallel inside the AI, and each one is independently investigating the data from a totally different angle. They're all looking at the very same sentence, but each one is fine-tuned to spot a different kind of pattern.
So, how does this whole detective team actually operate inside the machine? You might think it's chaotic, but it's not. In fact, it's a surprisingly elegant four-step process. Let's break it down.
Okay, let's just walk through this. First up, step 1, the input sentence gets broken down into individual pieces, which we call tokens. Then step 2, our detective team, all those attention heads, they get to work. Each one simultaneously analyzes all the relationships between those tokens. After that, in step 3, all of their findings, all their little clues, are gathered up and stitched together into one big, comprehensive report. And finally, step 4, the AI uses this incredibly rich, multi-layered understanding to make a really good prediction about what word comes next.
Let's make this real with an example. So imagine the input is, the spaceship landed on Mars and the astronauts... Okay, what happens? Well, one attention head might immediately see the link between astronauts and Mars. Another one might connect spaceship to the action landed. By combining all these different perspectives, the model gets the context and generates something logical, like collected rock samples. See, it's not just guessing, it's actually inferring based on multiple layers of understanding. So, why go to all this trouble, right? Why not just use one super smart attention mechanism? Well, the difference between one viewpoint and many is basically the difference between seeing in black and white versus seeing in full color, 4K high definition. Look, a single viewpoint is it's limited. It might pick up on one obvious connection but completely miss another one, especially in a really long, complicated sentence. But with multiple viewpoints all working in parallel, the AI can catch everything at once. Short-term relationships like the dog chased the ball, long-range connections that span a whole paragraph, grammar rules, and of course, the actual meaning. It's seeing the whole picture all at once.
And the payoff for doing it this way is huge. It leads to way better accuracy because the model just understands more. It can untangle super complicated sentences without getting confused, and the output is more robust. You know, if one head misses a clue, it's no big deal because another one is probably going to catch it. And this whole thing is scalable, which means it's ready to take on even harder jobs down the road.
And listen, this isn't just some abstract idea from a lab. This is the engine that's running under the hood of the most advanced AI tools that we are using every single day. The entire boom in large language models, it's pretty much built on this foundation.
And we are not just talking about 2 or 3 detectives on the case here. Some of the most powerful models out there today are using a team of 48 or even more attention heads, all analyzing your prompts at the exact same time. That's like having an entire precinct of detectives on the case instantly.
This entire revolution was kicked off by this groundbreaking research paper back in 2017 with a really bold title, Attention is All You Need. And they were right. The idea was so powerful that it gave birth to what we call the transformer architecture, which is basically the blueprint for almost every major language model in the world today.
So there you have it, multi-head attention. A whole team of specialists that gives AI the power to understand context, nuance, and complexity. Which, it leaves us with a pretty fascinating final question to chew on. If AI has already mastered the ability to see the world from dozens of different perspectives all at once, what uniquely human skill might be next?